Hey there, I'm James McKinnon.
And I'm Dago Renouf.
And you're listening to This Indie Life. This Indie Life follows the journey of two former indie hackers as we navigate the good, the bad, and the very ugly, attempting to turn our indie hacker dreams into reality. Dago used to run Logology, a logo design product, but now has a job. I run a podcast editing service and a handmade leather wallet side project. In this episode, Dago talks about why he can't do side projects anymore without going all in, but he does have a plan. Meanwhile, I've had a big week on my podcast Indie Bites, speaking to a bootstrapping legend, but having to overcome a metric shit ton of imposter syndrome. Let's get into this episode. So, Dago, we said in the last episode when we did our recording that we were going to do monthly episodes because it feels like that is what we would have enough time to make good updates in. But I texted you the other day dude, I missed the podcast. I want to chat with you. I want to see what's going on. A month seems too long. So Here we are after 2 weeks. How's your job going?
Well, it's funny because when you sent me that message, I was like, yeah, you're right. We need to talk because I already have some new shit to talk about. And yeah, I think it's like the prophecy that you made in last episode telling me that it was going to be that I wouldn't make it, having a job and a side project. And after 1 week of trying, it proved correct. I cannot do that. I can't do both. And I couldn't in my last job 6 years ago before I went full time on Logology. And I think the reason is there's no real motivation. I have some ideas, but then when it comes to okay, I have to actually build something, it takes so much energy. And there's two things that I'm still burnt out. I'm still in pretty bad shape. So I don't have that much energy. So there's that. But there's also I don't know, I don't have the same fantasy about what a side project could be that I used to have years ago. So I know it's not going to be a one night success. I know it's going to be tough. I know it's going to be a lot of work. And even though I have some ideas and I'm excited, of the beginning of a new idea, I know it's going to be a long road. And I'm dude, I have a job. I have a job. I make money. I also need to take care of my health. So I spend more time doing that. I spend more time, being with friends. And if I want to have at least minimal balanced life, I really don't see how I can put the energy into a side project because I don't like to do things, to half-ass it. I don't like to do things like this. So I don't see the point of working a couple hours a week on something because I don't think it's going to take me anywhere. And it's also that I haven't went through the real grieving that I need to do with Logology and really giving up on that. And I feel I need to give up. I need to fucking give up. For this time in my life at least, I need to let go. The good word is letting go. I need to let go of this. And
I agree.
Fuck this. I can't do both. I can't do a good job at my job and take care of my health and spend time with friends and not overwork myself and do a side project. It's impossible, at least for me right now. And in the way I work, which is pretty intense.
Yeah, I agree with almost all of your sentiments. I do think it is possible to do a side project on the side of a job, but kind of to what you were saying, it depends on your goals and ambitions and how quick you want to get there. The trouble is with a side project being at the side of your job is it's really, really fucking hard to make any progress with it when you've got to do life. And a lot of indies have families as well, and they're trying to juggle that and hobbies and sports. And so you can do it if you sort of carve out that time and you're disciplined with it. And sometimes that really focuses you. And I think that is the only option for a lot of people, Dago. They do have to do it on the side. But yeah, where are you sort of thinking? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go with this?
Well, it's it's what you said. You need to be able to focus. But for that, at least for me, I need to have that belief that it's going to take me somewhere nice. It's going to lead me to some cool shit in my life, And I don't have any kind of hope of that anymore. I really don't. I don't see the overnight success, making tons of money easily. All I can see is that I'm going to build maybe a side project then I'm going to run it and it's going to be a lot of work. And, you know, it's not going to bring me enough money to really feel safe that I could leave my job or anything like I know how hard it is to get, you know, past like, I don't know, like 10K monthly revenue for one person, you know, like, which is like what would make it worth it financially. And so what I can do though, as a kind of side project, what I feel like inspired to do is like, I want to write more about this failure, what I went through, what I learned. That's something I can do. You know, for example, tweeting and shit is something I can do pretty naturally. So writing for me is something I like and I do naturally. So it's okay, but like building an entire business, because I don't see the point, again, I don't see the point of doing it halfway. So, and I think there's two kinds of builders, and I'm one kind and there's another kind. And like, I see a lot of people, they just do small bets, you know, Daniel Vassallo style. They do small bets. For example, Daniel Vassallo, he did his Twitter course. He recorded it in a weekend. That's a small bet. And he made a ton of money with it. My Twitter course, it took me 5 months. And it was a
70-hour weeks, 5 months.
Yeah. But you know, that's just a totally different approach. Like, he's just trying things and seeing what sticks. And for me, it's totally different. For me, it's like, I want to give something to the world that I'm proud of. I want to like, you know, create something. Like, it's an act of like creation. I feel like I'm giving like a gift that I have to offer to people. And so I want to do something beautiful, something polished, something high quality. And that's like very important to me. And that's how I did Logology with Lucy too. That's how we did it. You know, I don't do things just for business. I do things because it's like an act of like creating something. And I assume when you do your wallets, it's a similar approach. You didn't go and like, oh, I'm going to see what kind of business can make the most money in a weekend. You were like, I love to do wallets. And you're trying to build a business around it, which is probably not a good business in terms of like all the businesses you could do.
Yeah.
It's not the best way to make money to do wallets. Like, it's not. But it's what you love doing. It's something you love to give to people. When people love your wallet, you're so happy, you know, because like it's something connected to you inside. And that's how I do things. And so right now, with my job, which even my job, I do it this way. You know, I don't do it with the same intensity because it's not 100% mine, but I still bring that quality, you know, and that kind of like approach of doing a really good job to my job. So like at the end of the week, dude, I don't have like, or even at the end of the day, I can spend some time on Twitter. I can write a couple of thoughts because that's something that comes easy, but like I can't like, but even that, like it takes a lot of energy. So yeah. I'm not able to do side projects. No way.
Yeah, I've got a few thoughts on that. First of all, treating your tweets and other content writing, sharing your experiences, I think is a good way of like having something small that you do on the side that helps. So yeah, I think that's smart. The only thing I would say to that is you'll run out of startup stuff to talk about. It will be from your previous experience, and the longer you go without building something, the harder it's going to be to write content about
that's why I changed my content. Like, I actually tweeted about that a couple of days ago, that I don't know what to write about because I'm not like in the startup phase anymore.
Yeah.
But
what are you going to write about?
I'm good. Well, I'm writing about how it feels not having energy to build a startup. And I'm just going to try to write about whatever I feel because I notice it resonates with a bunch of people. And I still have a lot to talk about that I haven't talked about my failure with Logology and everything I learned from it and what I went through. So there's a lot of content there that is valuable, I think. Yeah. But, you know, and again, as I said, I can't see me do a side project, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to build startups again. It just means I can't do it in parallel. I can only do it sequentially. So that means maybe 1 year from now, I quit my job and I do a startup again using the amazing French unemployment benefits that I get for 1 year after I quit. That might be it, you know, or not. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying is that I burnt out because I put myself under so much pressure to do everything right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like, I can't, like, my body can't do all of these things properly. And I don't like to do something not properly because my interest is in doing something good. Like, that's like where my interest is. My motivation is there. It's not just like small bet and see if it makes money. It's like, you know, create something cool. So I'm just like acknowledging and be like, yeah, I can't do it. I have no motivation for it. And right now, I need the money, I need the stability, I need to rebuild myself, so no way I'm doing a side project or a startup for now. And, maybe in 3 months from now, I completely change my mind. I mean, I would be evolving, and like maybe in 3 months or 6 months from now, I'm like, okay, now I'm ready and I have some money and I can, but like I don't want to put myself under this pressure, like I'm unable to handle it. So, and I acknowledging that I can't handle it.
What about your course?
Oh, my course is like completely dead. Like since the name has changed to X, it seems outdated because it's called How to Dominate Twitter, which doesn't exist anymore, literally, even though the algorithm is basically the same. So the course still works. And again, I don't have the will to update it. I mean, I would like to update it because I want to help people. But again, that's like, I know with like the level of care I would do it because I know, I have a vision for like an update I could create. It would take me weeks on top of my job, and I don't have energy for it. And so, I'm not doing it now.
Interesting. How are you enjoying doing Twitter at the moment if you're going to see sort of that as your side project in a sense?
Oh, well, it's funny because like as I'm dropping the hope or like, objective of trying to make money with Twitter or sell my course or build side projects, then I came back to Twitter, but just like to connect and share my story, which is basically what it's for initially, it's what it's for. And so not trying to turn it into a money-making machine or anything. And it's awesome because I start sharing even more authentic stuff. I spent the last couple of days sharing depressed tweets, like just tweets of me being depressed of like having failed my startup. Even my memes are depressed. But I think these are the ones that are maybe the most interesting because everyone's tweeting about how to make money, how to be successful, which is the most boring shit. And I'm tweeting about, failure and pain and what you're going through. And I think that has more like, at least that has the potential to be more interesting. And that comes easier for me right now. And I connect with people, so I enjoy it. So I will do that for a while. I have a shit ton of like tweets and memes I'm preparing, but like just like as a hobby, like not with pressure, but with a different kind. Like, cause I used to like always try to be uplifting, full of emojis, and now like no emojis, not uplifting.
But it isn't what people want to hear, the inspiration success stories, or do you think people are past that now? I'm past it, but I still think there's a lot of people that do take value from it.
I think I see a lot of people telling me that they're bored of like only seeing success tweets and inspirational tweets. And also it's more about like positioning. Like if everybody's doing success tweets, how do you stand out with success tweets? You don't. Like it's just the most boring shit. So like I'm going to talk about, failure tweets. That seems more interesting. And that's like, it's like a contrarian approach. Like if you do it the opposite, you will find people who give a shit about that and who appreciate it. So, we'll see how it goes. So what's up with you now?
So this week I did Indie Bites recording, and I must say I've been really good at getting the Indie Bites episodes out recently. I went through a phase of really struggling to release them regularly, but I did 4 in September. I've done 6 weeks in a row of getting episodes out.
Oh, nice.
And that feels really nice for me. This week, I did one of my quickest turnarounds from recording to final edit out and published. So I recorded on Wednesday and published Friday.
Oh, wow.
And this is one of the biggest recordings I've had in maybe since I started. It's up there. So it's a fella called Rob Walling. If you haven't heard of him, he's like a veteran in the SaaS and bootstrapping space, founder of TinySeed, MicroConf. Yeah, does the startups for the Rest of Us pod. And I don't get nervous for any guest, really.
You mean except
for people like Rob, I got nervous because there's nothing he hasn't already said on other podcasts on his own show. He's done almost 700 episodes, a lot of them solo, just answering questions about bootstrapping and SaaS. He's written 4 books. He's tweeting all the time. He's guesting on tons of podcasts.
So what did you do? So did you ask him about his sex life? I don't know, like something to try to get new content? What did you do?
No. I sent him messages beforehand saying what kind of stuff are you asked all the time and what should we avoid and what stuff are you interested in talking about. I read through his book, but I tell you, Dago, even on the day, so the recording was at 5 p.m, like just a wave of imposter syndrome, thinking there's no way I can make this episode good.
Yeah.
And I kept telling myself, I've got to push myself out of my comfort zone. If I want this show to grow, I need guests like Rob on, and I need to find a way to make it interesting. Or just relax into the fact you're not going to tell anything new, but people will still enjoy the episode. So that's what I had to tell myself. And once we got into the recording, I spent 20 minutes just like chatting to Rob, like trying to build some rapport. And he was just a true pro. He answered every question with just the right amount of detail, with a ton of wisdom, and we covered some topics that I thought were really interesting. One of which, Dago, was kind of what you're talking about, which is having a side project as a side project, or having goals with your business that means you need to be more ambitious. And I'm seeing this trend with people that have side projects that sort of get to 2-3 to 10k MRR versus those that like really make a difference in their lives and they go all in and they have one focus on whatever they're doing. And I asked Rob about the multiple projects, single focus debate, and probably my favorite answer, because he's like, depends on your goals. If you're just starting out, do a ton of small projects, learn the ropes, get them to 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month, because starting a SaaS is big and complicated. It's really hard to do. So do the small bets, like try things, make small projects. But then he said he doesn't think it's a long-term approach because the goals that we have are usually bigger than we think they are. So we're doing this for sort of freedom, financial freedom. And he said the only way you can get to like ultimate financial freedom is if you build something for a big exit. And that is how you get to permanent freedom. Otherwise, you were just on that side project
You're
or
on a fucking
entrepreneurship
treadmill.
hamster wheel.
That was the trap I fell into. Like, freedom is the fucking lie. Like, I'm more free now at a fucking job than in 5 years at my startup. That's like, freedom is like it's a trap. It's a trap.
It is a trap, especially in this indie world. And so my mindset has completely changed from wanting to like build a lifestyle business, and it's sort of changed over time. It's like wanting to build a small indie lifestyle business to actually, I do want this ultimate freedom. So I do need to work harder, double down, and actually make something work. The trouble is, I struggle to do that myself. Like, I know that's what I want to do, but executing on that vision is a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because I'm lazy. And I struggle to think long term. So if I've got a goal long term, it's hard for me to go, right, I need to do these things today for this to happen next week. We've seen it like play out exactly with my wallet business. Remember last year when I got all those sales and I said, I'm not going to lose momentum. It is my thing. I'm going to get to 10k a month by the end of the year. I've just got to do these things, which is make the content, make it regularly. And I didn't fucking do it. It was so clear what I needed to do, or at least try to say, look, I've tried my hardest to make this work and to regain this momentum, and I did none of it. And that is just something I need to work on and figure out how I'm going to change that.
You know, the only way I could make that work is by quitting my job and having skin in the game and risk. Because I know exactly how you feel. Like, between when I was 20 and 28, I had some side project and I completed nothing. I had probably like 10 side projects that I started, and I never did anything with them, never launched anything because like I was too comfortable. I was making money. I was like, freelancing. And so that's why also now I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to try. I'm not even going to even try to do side projects because I know I'm going to fail, because like when you're making money, when you're comfortable, like, because like if the goal is freedom, well, I have freedom now. I mean, at least I have more than when I was doing logology, because I don't have to overwork. I make some money. So if the goal is like some financial freedom, like it's not so unbearable that I'm going to work like all-nighters to try and fix my life and like my financial life, because I make enough. Like, it's good enough. I don't like fantasize about making millions enough that it's gonna, like, I don't care. I feel like the only real way is like, at least the only one that works for me is like you leave everything behind and you have no choice and you have to make it. And then motivation is here. Like you can, like it's easy. But then you burn out. But at least you have like a couple years before burnout where you can, give it a go. So that was my plan.
Well, we've spoken about this before on the pod. That's right for you, not for me, because if shit hits the fan for me and I have stuff on the table, ultimately I am too comfortable for anything to go wrong. And if it does go wrong, I just don't care. I let it go wrong.
Oh yeah, you have this thing. Yeah, you let it go wrong and you kind of like, you can like ignore it.
So I have to like make progress while I'm ahead. And we spoke about this last week as well, about being comfortable in my job or my freelance work. That is 2 days a week, Dago. I have plenty.
You only have 2 days of a week of like commitments, and then you have time for like your side projects.
For the side projects.
Wow.
Exactly. And I need to step up. I need to start taking things a little bit more seriously.
But why? Because like you say I need, but why?
Because I want to be better financially. Okay, another thing.
So it's for money.
It's for money, and it's for freedom. It's for this like permanent freedom that I want.
What freedom? Oh, the ultimate freedom of like making money without working, basically.
Because I'm chained to this freelance work that I'm doing, the podcast editing, and I don't want to do that. I want to build something bigger than just me, because that is what's going to get me to my freedom. I want to build myself into a job that I enjoy rather than working for someone else.
So you would need an exit, like the guy said. How can you exit the wallet business? Like, is there a way to exit that? Like, is there a plan that you can think of? Because like it seems a bit like abstract.
It might not be an exit for now. I don't know if I can work towards that because, as you say, I don't know if the wallet business is sellable, and I don't know if like the editing service is sellable. But I know I need to get to a place where I am better financially and freeing off some of my time. And I was thinking about this. So I'm going to America next week, and I don't want to go because I hate going for work. I hate dragging all my equipment around, and it's just like a stressful, horrible time. I want to go to America and enjoy it finally, and just like be there for a holiday.
Where are you going?
New York and San Francisco.
Okay. Big trip.
Yeah, and I'm just dreading it, dude. And I shouldn't be. I should be really grateful and excited, and I'm dreading it.
Yeah, but like it's going to be very short. So you're going to be like jet lagged, and it's not going to be able to enjoy anything, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And like I have recordings in London every week, and I am over it now. I don't want to do those recordings. So it got me thinking, if I had been more serious about even that business, getting a couple more clients, I could have been in a position to potentially hire someone who could do those recordings for me. I quite enjoyed the editing still, and like taking the content from raw to finished product. For that client, I don't mind doing that.
Oh, it's funny. It's like the wallet. Like you like to take something raw and take it into a finished product.
Yeah.
That's what you like. Oh, that's interesting.
On that as well, I've taken up a new hobby recently.
Oh.
I am pulling apart 90s mountain bikes. Like buying them on Facebook Marketplace for 50 quid, pulling them apart and trying to rebuild them, because I want to be able to
like like a construction game for kids, but like kind of the same kind of like approach. Okay.
But you got to spend thousands on tools, and it's one of the most challenging things I've done, because at every stage there's a new thing you've got to learn and figure out.
So basically like build a bike from like spare parts. Wow.
Build a bike from spare parts, but spare parts from the 90s that don't really exist anymore. And there's like a scattering of information on the internet about doing it.
Oh, okay.
And it's not like you can complete it and it not be very good. It's either it works or it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a fucking bike,
yeah. So, and there's just like all these little things that I didn't know exist. So,
well, you found like, it's so cool that you found kind of like, there's like a common thread in what you love doing. That's very interesting to know that.
And it's so weird. I get so into it, dude. I get this hyper fixation. I was up at 3 a.m. like sitting in my living room cleaning a rear derailleur and like taking it apart and like servicing all the parts, oiling them and putting them back together. And then I was like rebuilding a shifter. And
you can sell those. You can sell like 90s
No.
bike, like brand new, like
No.
remade
I'm
new.
not selling them.
Yes,
I'm
sell
not
them.
turning it-
You are an indie hacker, dude. You're not like a guy with just a fucking hobby. You cannot do
I'm
that.
not turning a
You
hobby
cannot
into a
have
business.
hobbies.
Fuck that.
You need to have businesses. It's not a hobby. Everything's a business.
I'll wrap up just by saying when I was doing that recording, I was like, this would be so much nicer if I was more serious about turning this into a business. I could find a way to hire someone. I certainly earn enough for it that I could hire someone to do this and feel better about it. So my final thought is I've got to figure out how to take things more seriously for me and to have a bit more ambition, building on last week, not rest on my laurels too much.
Get a wife. A wife will want you to be more ambitious. She will be like, you're wasting your life away, James. Be more ambitious. You need a wife. You have a mom. You only have a mom and a cat. They won't challenge you this way.
No.
Get a wife who challenges you.
All right. If there's anyone out there that wants to be my wife, you let me know.
Yeah. He has a lot of potential.
All right, dude. Should we wrap it here?
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode of This Indie Life. Hope you enjoyed the chat between myself and Dago. If you've got any questions or feedback, feel free to send us a message on Twitter. I'll leave our handles in the show notes. And if you want to watch us instead of listen, a reminder, the pod is on YouTube and we've got some bloody fantastic thumbnails on there. That's all from me. Stay indie. James out.